Hang on, let's just let everyone get their seats back. And welcome along, team. So just to note, I'll move the staff recommendation. Victoria will second it. Do you want to do your presentation? First question I've got is from Tyler. So you guys talk through it first.
Look, I'd just like to introduce Guy Williams. I don't think I perhaps been in front of council once, and Andy Brown, who's the manager of our Metropolitan Parks, to present the item today. Over to you, Guy.
Good morning. We are putting this proposal together to repurpose the area at 258 to 262 Hereford Street into car parking to service the Kaha Stadium. We'll take the proposal as read, but I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Tyler, thank you for that. Tyler.
Kia ora, guys. Quick first question. I've got a couple. Who are the car parks for?
So it would be venues. Otatahi would manage the whole site, including those car parks, and it would be for event staff or associated bodies that are at an event at the stadium.
Okay.
Just to add to that, one of the obligations venues Otatahi has when they with the event hirers is they have to provide a certain number of car parks free of charge. So it might be New Zealand Rugby for an All Blacks or the promoter of a major concert, etc. So at the moment they're having to go off-site and hire those car parks, because all of the car parks that you may be familiar with that are built on site in an event are used for accessible parking only.
Yep. And when the events are on time, who will those car parks be for?
They'll be generally available for operational staff.
Okay. So the question I've got, I think I'm getting to, is would operational staff be permanently in those plus the event staff during those events? So for example, will venue staff have constant car parks throughout regardless of the events?
The only staff that would...
I'm talking VIP parks is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, the only staff that will be parking constantly are most likely to be the park staff. They don't have to be there during the day. That can be used for other purposes. But it's, our main concern is that a lot of the park staff will be there on event evenings up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Cool, so it's our guys.
And so our guys will be allocated car parks in those events so that they have safe egress.
Okay, and if the council decide to go the alternative option, what's the financial return if we were to put a capital injection into it and then lease out the building?
The estimate is about $39,000 a year for the 200 square metre footprint.
Okay. And is there any OPEX that we need to put into it year by year? Or will that be within the leasing agreement if we do decide to go that way?
I'd need further investigation to confirm.
Bruce is nodding that would be incorporated into the revenue generated, I guess.
You would have to offset the revenue.
Offset the revenue. Yeah.
Okay, and for the park staff, say for example, we did go with the alternative option, where would they go if this resolution didn't go through?
The current arrangement is that they park at Hagley and they'd have to be transported over.
Got you. Okay, thanks.
Cool. I've got Aaron and then Nathaniel.
Yeah, a couple of things. Just one is the access bit. Firstly, did you say 39 for that building?
Yes, correct. I'll just confirm that.
Yeah, it is 39.
Yes, 39.
Yeah, it's in the report. Yeah.
I would be beyond shocked if you could lease that for $39,000 a year. It's a pig, and as a polite term, and there's so much other available space. Why would someone rent that for 39? Where did that number come from?
It came from our leasing team. That's on the assumption that we invest the 140,000 into the
To do it
visible
upstairs.
defects that need to be fixed. It could be more than that.
Right. Okay. That's all right. And then my other one is around accessibility. The site in the area, because I've asked it a few times. What the traffic management plan looks like. We're opening in weeks, and we have not seen it. I went to an event last week, in Auckland at Eden Park, and theirs is unreal. And there's lots of old people there, and they've closed all the streets 6 blocks away. It's an inaccessible venue. Are we going to be that? Because that'll be the headline. The headline won't be, oh, fantastic new venue. It's going to be, but no one could get there.
That's not really a question for these guys. I can take that away. It's really a question for Venues Otatahi. They are the ones responsible for the activity on site and delivering the events, and they are the ones that are developing the...
So you're saying VO are running the streets around the event?
Well, it's a combination. VO are working with our transport team.
Yeah.
Yeah, to create the
So why don't
transport
we?
management plan.
Yeah.
So why don't we? Obviously, next Tuesday we're not here, but the Tuesday after, can we have it as an action to have VO and the transport team talk through? Let's just.
We can take that away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be good because I think the urgency is fair, and that gives 2 weeks.
We'll schedule a workshop before.
Yeah, so
Opening day.
in that workshop, we're at the point now where, because we've spent tens of millions on the streets around it, we must see all the maps of exactly how people are getting in and out, and because we're the governance board, and confidence, yes, and showing what's the modelling on buses, we'll have an updated version of what it looks like, and it's...
I can see Brent's getting excited about the presentation already, so...
It's the
take that
pictures
away.
that he wants to draw that I'm looking forward to.
Okay, so let's leave that there. But let's note that as an action around not next week, but the week after. We're in the next couple of weeks getting something. We've got Nathaniel, then Tyler.
Yeah. Just to clarify, so we haven't, as a council, we haven't given VO any clear assurances as yet that this land is for them to use for parking, right?
The original report, and I sent the answers through to councillors yesterday, detailed the thinking at the time as to why that land would be purchased, and one of those was VIP parking, which is one of the reasons why we're putting.
So it was one of about 5 possible uses when we bought the land. Was this?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
And then Pauline. And then we might try and get...
Yeah. Excuse me, fellas, for asking this.
And Tim as well. Yeah.
We've obviously gone through a tour around the stadium, which was awesome. When we got to see the Parks team have their workshop within the stadium itself. So would you be able to tell me why the Parks team would come from Hagley to park in those car parks during events, if we've already got a workshop already in the stadium?
They don't have any parking.
And what are they?
They
are
have
they
to
going to
transport
utilize for?
themselves to that location.
Oh, so they've
So the issue that we have is not the everyday. You could use public
Yeah.
transport, cycle, whatever. It's this venue is proposing to have multiple events, late into the evening.
Yeah.
And after the event leaves, that's when our park staff teams works for. They might have to break down turf protection, various things, stay on site. They're likely to be there until the early hours of the morning in those circumstances.
That makes sense.
Yes.
So then there's the sticking point for me really is putting in $300,000 for some VIP parks as the premise.
Okay, so let's. So have you got a question?
I'm just wondering what the utilisation would be. I completely back staff utilising those car parks if we were to go through with that resolution, but I'm not sure about spending $300,000 on VIP parks.
So you got questions of the staff?
Yeah,
or-
could there be a resolution that probably excludes the use of VIP parks?
Well, I
Okay,
think we
that's not a
have
qu-
to come
that's-
back with a different option for the land, because if you're talking about utilising it for staff car parks on those 20-something occasions that you're going to have late night activity,
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what the rest of the land might be used for. We'd have to come back with an alternative proposal that could
Okay.
accommodate some staff, and then work with our planning team to work out what could be achieved on that site
Okay.
from a commercial perspective. We don't have that level of detail.
So I've got Pauline,
Support
then
you
Yanni,
now.
then
Sorry.
Tim. There's
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just finding a little bit confusing in the report. If we were to retain the building, there is room for car parks as well, isn't there, in there?
At the moment, the car parks are allocated under consent to that building.
Oh, okay.
Right, so if you retain the building, the car parks stay with the building. If you lease the building, the car parks go to the leasee.
And that's the total number of car
Yeah.
parks on either side of the building?
Under their previous activity, I mean, obviously, depending on what that use may be, there could be a different outcome to that.
Could there?
Yeah. The thing to keep in mind is the site will be as it is as we open the stadium.
And that would
So-
that be a? Sorry, Pauline, just to clarify. So is that a change to resource consent?
It depends what comes forward through a
Yeah,
commercial
so the-
leasing process and
I was gonna
what
say-
activity, you know, we can't sit here and say it'll need, 2 car parks or 20 car parks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So depending on if we retained the building and we leased
Change
it
of
out,
use.
depending on what
Yeah.
that use is, there would be a new consent required, which could alter the car parking, which could free up some for
Yeah.
council
But,
or
could
but
be.
Te Kaha.
there'd still be minimum car parking requirements, wouldn't there? I mean, otherwise
yeah.
you'd have. Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. 'Cause
It
it's central
Look, it
city.
depends on the underlying rules in the district plan and what
Yeah.
the proposed activity is. We can't answer that question today.
Yeah. Okay.
And just, is
yep.
there, in the report I haven't seen, is there a demolition cost estimate?
Yes, around $35,000 for demolition. That's included in the project cost.
It's way less than the.
Okay. Tim. No, Yanni. Sorry, Yanni. Then Tim. Sorry, Yanni, Celeste, and then we'll finish with Tim.
Cool. So
And then-
when we acquired this, one of the rationale for it was to
Questions. Questions.
yeah, this is a question. The increased flexibility of precinct design outcomes and control of precinct design outcomes.
Questions.
So the question is, given that we purchased this and it's been raised for nearly 2 years, why is it just coming to us now, and why wasn't it done in cooperation with the stadium design?
Because I think we've answered this question before, because it's been leased to Bessett's Watpac, have been utilising it for the purposes of building the stadium. And it's now becoming available.
So you're just saying you wouldn't demolish it when there's people in it?
No, not talking about demolishing
Cool.
it,
You got a
but why
different question,
hasn't
Yanni?
the plan for it been incorporated into the state? Like, why hasn't the plan for the car parking requirements of the stadium been incorporated into the design?
The design for the car parking requirements for the stadium have been incorporated into the design. This is additional to that requirement.
Sorry, so my understanding is we're being told that venues Ōtautahi are hiring private car parks
That's correct.
when they contract events
That's correct.
because they don't have sufficient car parking at the stadium, the brand new stadium that we haven't even opened yet, that we have designed, even though...
What's your question? Not your statement.
So the question is, why wasn't this need for these car parks incorporated into the stadium design?
Haven't you been through
Look,
that?
I don't think we've got the right staff at the table to answer that question. I mean,
Okay.
the design was done over a long period of time and quite some years ago. And
Right.
I'm not sure, Bruce
Okay.
may have some recollection of
Can-
the timing of that purchase.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So then can I ask when obviously there's a cost to council, there's a cost to venues Ōtautahi.
What's your question?
When is the operational agreement between council and venues Ōtautahi coming to us?
I'm not sure that that's relevant to the item on the table, but it's with Venues Ōtautahi. It's a commercial negotiation.
I thought we'd had an answer to that a week or two
And
ago.
I
It's been
think I
worked through
answered
the
that
system.
last week.
Yep. Okay, I've got Celeste and then Tim. You must have a good question.
If we didn't go ahead with this today, I understand, I mean, obviously we can sort of monitor how things go. I understand that there is some urgency because you want to do work there now, but how comfortable would you be if some councillors didn't feel like they had sufficient information today to make a decision?
Look, the only
So
advantage...
Celeste,
The-
we struggle
the
at the end
advantage
to
of-
hear you. Can you repeat and just lean right into the...
Just talking about timing, whether we could potentially postpone
Timing.
this, because there's some questions here that I feel like I would
What are
prefer.
your
some-
questions? Sorry.
Well, some of the questions have been asked already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the question is, if there wasn't a decision to proceed today, what would the impact be? The stadium will open, obviously, and the site will be as it is. You may get cost inflation, possibly not. We're using advantageous contractual rates with an open contract we have from the streets, so we'd have to go to the market.
And just, do you have any idea of how many staff would be using that space? Like what the need is? Because you're obviously basing it upon what the space
7.
can provide.
Can you, sorry, Celeste, we can't
Sorry.
hear a word. Yeah.
So I was just asking what the staff need was, and the answer was 7.
Yep.
Is that right? Yep.
Correct.
So 7.
7 out of the 33.
7 out of the 33. So we're not sure yet what the other ones would be used for. Would they be for VO?
Venues Otatahi, it
Yep.
reduces the amount of car parks they have to commercially purchase to support the events.
Right. Thank you.
Tim. And then,
Could these parks also be used, depending on the event, for overflow for emergency vehicles like St John, etc.? Police, yeah.
It's really up to Venues Otatahi.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't feel
Yeah.
comfortable answering on their behalf.
Yeah. Yep, thank you.
So, and then I'll come to Nathaniel. I think you got a foreshadowed motion. So, Andrew, just so I've got it clear in my mind, if we proceed with demolition, we're going to provide the car parks. If we don't proceed with it, they'll have to go and hire them elsewhere because of contractual arrangements they've entered into.
Just to be really precise, they'll still have to hire
Yeah.
car parks.
But
They
this will
just
be
won't have
less.
to hire as many.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Really clear. Nathaniel.
I was just going to put a foreshadowed motion for, I've got some wording there for the alternative option.
So if this fails, you'll just move the alternative option.
That's right.
So is that the staff alternative, or have you got some updates?
Oh, so I mean, it's basically the staff alternative to retain, but I think there is some wording with staff to precisely capture what I was. Is that?
Yeah, we'll just get that on the screen.
Yeah, cool.
Yanni, do you want to ask your question while that's happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very specific question. But is it, given that we own the Litchfield Street car park, has there been consideration of using that for the requirements?
I can't answer that. I mean, again, all the activity associated to delivering events is the responsibility of Venues Otatahi.
Okay.
Cool. So just so we're clear, so Nathaniel, this is your foreshadow one, which is, approves the retention and the preparation of the site for commercial activity, and delegates to staff decisions relating to dual use. So that would just be the resource consent and things. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yep.
making sure that there are some of those parks available, because there's actually 2 sites, 258 and 262.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So that's foreshadowed, and we'll deal with that if we get to it. Have you got a question? And then I'm really keen to move this on. So, yep.
Sorry, Andrew, what are the largest venues other outside of Christchurch you've been involved in New Zealand?
In New Zealand,
Yeah, or overseas, either way.
Eden Park and Stadium, Sydney Stadium, whatever they call it now. It changes its name every year.
Okay, so then if that's the case, and you oversaw this paper, why is your staff recommendation for this venue what it is, in a nutshell? Why would you make that recommendation rather than, oh, let's just do it up and lease it out for maybe 39K? Why would you make this recommendation, looking at the site as a whole with your experience?
For the short term, it solves, not a particularly difficult logistical problem, but it solves a small logistical problem. It helps us makes me feel better about keeping our staff safe, late at night. And that's something to be mindful of too. This will be a 7-day-a-week operation for our staff. This isn't a tune up, prepare it, and leave type of venue. Our staff will be there every day of the week, and whatever nights events are held. So there's that factor. There's the short-term benefit, which may be, depending on how long it runs, associated to reducing Venues Otatahi costs. The payback period on a $300,000 capital investment is obviously reasonably long, but it has benefits. It makes the venue more operationally attractive, particularly to those, if I use someone like the All Blacks, for example, they will have a certain number of people that they absolutely want to park on site. And that's a challenge for VO at the moment.
To the best of your knowledge, Andrew, are VO moving their corporate offices to the stadium?
I'm not.
You're
I'm not
able
privy to VO's commercial operations. Sorry.
Okay, so, yeah, all right.
All right, so we're there. So we've got a motion on the table, which is moved and seconded, and we've got a foreshadowed one if that fails from Nathaniel. So what we'll do is, I'm going to ask for debate in the hope that not everyone wants to debate it, given what it is. So I've got Pauline, Nathaniel, Yanni.
Just very briefly, I was really erring on the side of retaining the building, but having listened to the questions and answers, I think that in looking at the plan, I think it's... What's that?
Hey,
No,
let her finish.
No, I said erring, if anything, so that's not a decision. So, but no, I think that it would be better to have a clear site, and the addition of a net 6 more trees, so we're removing 3 and replanting 9, that's going to make the site look really good. I think that building might let down the whole area. I'm just concerned about that. It's not really a pretty thing. And also, Andrew's comments about staff safety, I think, is really important. So providing those car parks at a effective location to keep them safe is really important. It's not going to be, as far as I can see, a car park for the public per se. So we're not actually encouraging people to bring their cars in. Where this is for staff generally, as far as I can see. So I'll be supporting the recommendation.
I'd like to give you another 10 minutes to keep talking. Okay, Yanni?
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I appreciate that the staff have brought this report. I guess the frustration is that I've been raising this almost since we bought the site. How does it incorporate into the design for the new stadium? And I just feel really disappointed that we still have no sense of what the external activation is of the precinct, but we see the stadium's going to open in a couple of weeks, a couple of months. You know, like we were told initially that there's going to be activity along Barbados Street, that's going to be an active edge where there could be opportunities for council or the community to come and participate in hospitality when we don't have events on, but I don't think we've had any plans for that at the moment. There was talk of having some sort of live music venue within the stadium. I don't think that we've had an update on that. I think the frustration I have is that we're being asked to make this decision so close to the opening of the stadium, and that it's inconceivable that you could design a brand new stadium and not have the functions that you need to support events that are happening there, and have to spend additional money and resources 2 months before it's opening to cater for that. So, yeah, my preference is to retain the site, is to look at what the commercial activities are, and I think my colleague has got a foreshadowed amendment, which I'll be supporting. The irony is that we own a car parking building 2 blocks away that we're told is underutilised, and we're considering selling off. At the same time, we've got a report saying we need more car parking, and a site that we've bought, we should turn it into car parking to support our operations. So, yeah, I won't support this, the staff recommendation. I will support the foreshadowed amendment. I still think we need to get a really clear understanding of how this precinct is going to work with the activation, especially outside of the event days as well as the event days.
Anyone would think you're not going to be at the opening, Yanni. Nathaniel.
Yeah. First of all, probably want to turn the temperature down on it a little bit. I think either way, we've got a fantastic stadium opening in April. It's not, this definitely isn't die on a hill territory here. I just think there's a good opportunity with some pretty minimal costs. We put the stadium in the inner city so that it was going to be accessible for public transport, so that people wouldn't have to drive, or they could only walk a few blocks. And also we put it there because we wanted vibrant nightlife in the inner city. And then we bought the land around it to try and further a lot of those goals. And there is, I think, a big opportunity for us here furthering that goal with this building. It is, at the moment, looks pretty rough, absolutely. But, we're being told by staff we could spend 150,000, 140,000 doing it up. We'll have the only venue that's on the same block as the stadium. Could be a restaurant bar. It'll be earning us, 40 grand a year. It'll be right there. I think it'll end up being a pretty iconic venue for a lot of people. It'll be like the pre-game, closest pre-game stadium, pre-game location, right by the stadium. I can't imagine that it wouldn't do well on game days. And bars like the Fitz before it burnt down that are close by show that you can have a good viable bar in that area with a bit of work. So I think it'd be a really awesome, iconic kind of venue. And it'll reduce rates by $40,000 a year, and the capital costs are half the capital costs of doing the car park option. The only real downside is, we're losing some parking spaces. The actual footprint of the building itself is 11 park spaces. There'll be some figuring out the 6 on 258 and then the other 14, how many of those we can retain. Seems likely we'd be able to retain enough for our staff at least. So I think there's a pretty good option there with pretty small downside. Definitely no big strategic downside, just a cost for VO. And we're not really supposed to be adding more to our subsidy of the stadium in VO. It's already $1 million in OPEX a year from parks. And the alternative to this is really, as I said, we'd be doubling the capex for the $300,000 for the car park, and kind of telling ratepayers really, we built it here because we think you're all good to walk a couple of blocks or bus in the middle of the night, but it's not safe for our staff to do that. We're going to give them free parking instead. I feel like that's just not really appropriate. Particularly, we're trying to cut our cloth, we're trying to save some money. We've got $40,000 a year lying on the ground. Why not pick it up? So either way, we can have an awesome stadium. We'll be able to revisit, if there are real parking issues, we can revisit them when the transitional cathedral land is in our hands. We can add the parks there if we find that we really, really need them. But I think in a few years, if we make the right decision, we will have this iconic pre-game institution restaurant bar right by the stadium, and we'll be thinking, how could we ever thought about bowling it over? So hope you... oh, look at that, perfect timing. Thank you.
Just to be clear, are we all talking about the same building? This...
Look, I mean,
I wouldn't let my worst enemy go into that building. Let alone,
you can do a lot with 150,000.
Yeah.
Remember the Occidental.
Okay, sorry, I probably didn't help the order at all. Aaron, I'm sure this will help. And then Andre.
Yeah, the new bar opening on Hereford Street there is called The Pig. And I'm not sure who it's going to attract, but you never know. First and foremost, the safety of the staff, having worked with various events over the years and at most venues around this country, accessibility is a massive thing, and for staff loading in and out that will rig the concerts and stuff, the cleaners that'll be there till 2 or 3 in the morning because there's another event starting the following day, that kind of stuff, this is important, and there's also a reason why councils go out and recruit staff and managers to run departments that have worked in really impressive places around the rest of the world. That's because they have experience. And so I take it that our staff write a report based on what they believe is the best outcome for this venue. Not that, I might be able to score a car park there now and then myself, so I'll pop that in. The staff recommendation today is about getting the best outcome for the stadium. New Zealand and Christchurch have invested a lot of money and a lot of effort into what will be the best venue in this country, if not one of the best in Australasia. So if our staff then come to us and say, this addition over here will make the best venue even better, then we need to back them. And so that's why I ask all of my councillors for the success of the stadium to back this.
Thank you. Andre.
Thank you. Yeah, the reality of the bunged up old building is it says in the report $140,000 in repairs. So it's not necessarily a cheap option. It's a whole lot of money into doing that and then hoping someone wants to take it over. But at the end of the day, you have to have parking available to run events. Event organisers, they bring their crews. The band, they bring their crews. There's a whole lot of people involved, a whole lot of logistics. And if you don't make that operation as smooth as possible, it makes them less likely to want to come back. If we're lucky enough to get the Spice Girls and they've got their big Union Jack tour bus, it's going to need somewhere to park. But a lot of your big artists, like after the show's finished, they get bundled into a car while people are still cheering, and they get whisked away in their motorcar, and that's for security reasons. Otherwise, they get mobbed. Like the operations of this need to be as smooth as possible. There's opportunity here to utilise that space. It would seem absolutely insane not to. A car park 2 blocks away is no good. If you've got Billy Idol, for example, you know, he's going to need to get whisked away, or I'll be screaming looking for an autograph. You know, yeah, no, it'd just be absolutely nuts not taking an opportunity like this. It doesn't mean it's this forever. I mean, it's been empty car parks. Possibilities in future are endless, but trying to restore that old building, I don't think it's going to get us anywhere.
Thank you, Andre. I've got the Mayor and then Tim, and then we're going to move on.
I haven't been here this morning. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. Common sense doesn't seem to be very common today. Thank you. I do the jokes around here. You got it. Anyway, it comes down to this. The building's buggered, exactly what Aaron said. If staff are saying this is going to make the precinct better, it's good. The building's buggered, it's going to cost a whole lot to fix it. Let's get it knocked over before Heritage get their hands on it, and otherwise we'll be stuffed over. But we don't want to be having a building there done up and we're renting it out to a bar. We've got people who have spent God's own $1 million up and down the terrace and stuff like that, and we don't. Nah. So I'll be certainly supporting what's up here on the wall. Hey, we'll put the trees in.
Okay, to wrap it up, Tim.
Thank you. Without the exception of my colleague across the table here, I've done more big concerts than anyone else in this building. The number one thing for me is at night, when all you guys waddle off from your corporate and you're having a nice time, you're actually going in a bunch. My cruise started from about 11 o'clock at night, male and female. And they worked, and 3 o'clock it'd be actually very nice, but we go through, luxury, we go through to when it's finished. That's it, full stop, it has to move. I've had staff attacked in Hagley car park. We have had areas closed off. Funnily enough, I actually had security guards attacked. It didn't go too well for the attackers, but you know. But in all seriousness, the number one thing on my mind, when you've got all this happening, you've got, I think the biggest we had is about 90 B trains planted all across Christchurch to get them to Lancaster Park on schedule, in order, reverse order of when you load in. The VIPs, technically that's a side issue. But you know, we worry about nurses at night, which is absolutely right. But I haven't really heard anyone caring about the crews. And some of them are females. Yes, some of them are pretty handy or whatever. But think about what we're doing and what the end game is. The end game is to have the best stadium in New Zealand in a great spot. And here we are arguing about a few car parks which could be used extremely well. It could be used for extra disability parking depending on the event, extra fire if we've got pyrotechnics, etc. That's for the operators to decide, not you guys to guess or myself to guess. I'm not operating it, thank God. But I just wish you'd be a bit more positive, and I hope the media pick up about the negativity. We've got an amazing opportunity here. Our city's going forward, and we're just moaning about a few little things. The operation, the number one thing you should be sitting, you've got an opportunity to provide safe parking for both the crews who are doing the grass, etc. Because when you're loading out, there are council workers there it used to be on my back, making sure the grass isn't being screwed over. You know, like we're investing a lot of money in this building for this grass. It doesn't happen by accident, and we don't want any accidents. To park 2 blocks away is a joke, to be quite frank. I really hope you support this, and I hope one day that you go and see in 2 and 3 in the morning the crews and how hard they bloody well work. Cheers.
Very good. Good note to end on. Let's go to Votendo, please. Voting started. Cool. So that's Okay, great. So that's carried. Thank you. Yeah. Have you got that there? Can you bring it back up, please? Just so I can see it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, Yanni voted against it. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's move on. So we'll go into